Hey there, Orbiters! In this video, we're going to briefly walk through each of InnerOrbit's 5 reports and talk about the purposes of each. First, let's dive into the Performance Expectations report. In this report, you're going to see students' performance on the performance expectations grouped by dimension, but then each of those dimensions will be grouped by a performance expectation. So here for MSPS 2.1, the DCI, Forces in Motion, is grouped together, as well as the SEP, Constructing Explanations and Designing Solutions, Cross-Cutting Concepts, System-of-System Models, and then the evidence statements for MSPS 2.1. You'll also notice that we break apart the elements of that DCI, SEP, or CCC underneath into 4 different sections. When you click on all parts of these standards, you'll be able to see all of the elements for that dimension grouped by grade band. So when you go through a specific performance expectation, you can see how students did on each of the dimensions of that PE. Next, let's go to the gradebook. In the gradebook report, you'll be able to see how each student performed overall on each specific assessment. You'll be able to see student names and assessments at the top, and then even an average total score here. Be sure to check out the cool filters on the top to look through the different type of questions, break apart your data by points or percentage, which assessments to include, and even the down gradebook option, so you can import these grades into another system. Let's go to the assignments report next. In the assignments report, you'll be able to dive deeper into your data by assignment. Assignments will show up here when you assign the assessment. So if you see no data for the assessment, that means the assessment's been assigned, but has not yet been taken by students. So go ahead and click View the Full Report to see more data on the specific assignment. You can click on these bars to show which students did well or might need support with the specific assignment. You can also look at overall student completion by clicking on the green bar. Additionally, scroll down to look at specific students' answer sheets by clicking on their name. And you can also keep scrolling down and look at the question matrix. This is where you can look at each specific question and see how students did on that question. You can click on the completion bar for the distractors to see which students chose those questions. You can also decide to download question to standard alignment if you want a reminder of which standards each question was assessing. You can also download this answers report to see a more detailed view of which students answered which questions correctly and incorrectly to use for your own analysis. Next, let's go to the longitudinal report. The longitudinal report will show you how students are performing on the DCIs, SEPs, and cross-cutting concept over time. So the x-axis will be different assessment points. So here we can see diagnostic, team assessment, and then a benchmark over time, moving from early August to end of September. Then you can also see the significance. So the y-axis is number of questions multiplied by number of students. So you can see the weight of that specific data. The smaller the significance, or the thinner the y-axis, the less amount of questions and or the less amount of students who took that assessment. Moving into larger regions, that means there's more questions tagged that specific dimension and or more students taking that assessment. Finally, let's dive into the school report. At the top of your school report, you'll see some general usage data at your school, but scroll down to see your 3-dimensional analysis of the DCIs, SEPs, and cross-cutting concepts. The percentages that you see here are total overall questions tagged with that dimension's correct percentage. So 79% of all questions that have been asked this school year about PS3 energy have been answered correct. Click into the dimension to see more specific student results by subcategories, then by grade level, and by elements underneath. Use the filters over to the side to filter this data by a specific common assessment. Look at all assessments between a certain date range, like all of Q3 assessments. Filter by your periods or by the specific student you're looking for. You can also change your overall proficiency percentages here by typing in a new number and pressing enter. Finally, if you want to see all standards that were not yet assessed, click this filter here so you can see which standards have been assessed and which still need assessments. Thank you so much for visiting our InnerOrbit Reports video. If you need help at any time, talk with us on the site chat or email us at support@innerorbit.com. Happy orbiting!